Hello and welcome everybody to the session now called Midwife and Nursing Research. My name is Sarah Fliesken and I'm working at the German Association for Nurses, and I have the honor of moderating the sessions today. So we know from the last session that research in nursing and midwifery is an important component in order to consider planetary health and practice. And this session today will showcase the research in nursing and midwifery from Europe, and it will highlight the vital contributions of these disciplines to advancing planetary health and the population well-being. And we will gain insight into the interdisciplinary research approaches that bridge nursing, midwifery, and environmental science and the public health. And this session also will explore how these professions are uniquely positioned to investigate and address the complex interactions between environmental factors and health, especially in nursing and midwifery. And we have great guests who will present their research projects today. And I think we will start with Christa Büker. She's a professor of nursing and nursing science at the Faculty of Health at the Bielefeld University of Applied Science since 2015. And she will show us today some of her projects. Thank you, Christa, and it's your turn.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, and I will share my slides. So you can see my slides, isn't it? Okay,
Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome all of you to my presentation, Planetary Health in Nursing Education. As Sarah said, my name is Christa Büker and I'm Professor of Nursing Science at Bielefeld University of Applied Sciences and Arts in Germany. Bielefeld is a town in Western Germany with more than 300,000 inhabitants, and the University of Applied Sciences, you see on the picture, was founded in 1971, and we have more than 10,000 students. We have 6 faculties with a total of 37 bachelor degrees and 28 master degrees. And as Sarah said, my faculty is the Faculty of Health, and we have bachelor programs in nursing and midwifery, and master programs in advanced practice nursing and vocational education. In the next minutes, I would like to explain why it is important and necessary to include topics on planetary health, climate change, and sustainability in nursing education. And I would like to tell you about our research at Bielefeld University of Applied Sciences relating to this issue. Climate change is the biggest global health threat facing the world in the 21st century. This statement, published in The Lancet in 2009, shows the urgency of the issue. Effects of climate change are, for example, extreme temperatures, extreme weather events like floods, drought, or storms, and the loss of biodiversity. And all of this affects human health. The health of the planet is closely linked to the health of the human civilization. The concept of planetary health deals with this connection. Climate protection and the protection of the natural systems of our planet is health protection. And health protection is a duty of nurses. Nurses have a mandate to engage in climate protection and sustainability, especially because of the ICN Code of Ethics for Nurses. Since 2021, there is a new element of the Code of Ethics, the element 4, Nurses and Global Health. It says, nurses contribute to population health and work towards the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. You can see the 17 SDGs on the slide. And the ICN Code says nurses collaborate and practice to preserve, sustain, and protect the natural environment and are aware of the health consequences of environmental degradation, for example, climate change. And it says nurses advocate for initiatives that reduce environmentally harmful practices. As the global voice of nursing, ICN strongly believes that nurses have a shared responsibility to sustain and protect the systems of our planet. Last but not least, ICN's new definition of nurse and nursing emphasizes the role of nurses in creating environments that are not only safe for patients and communities, but also sustainable for the planet. Therefore, we need nurses who are aware of the issue. We need nurses who understand how climate change affects human health. And we need nurses who work towards a climate-smart nursing practice. This means that we have to develop the relevant skills already in nursing education. Nursing education is a key factor. But as studies show, nursing students are aware of the issue, but do not have the knowledge or skills required in nursing practice. The significant role of nurses in addressing climate change and sustainability is not yet understood. Our national educational institutions in Germany are not obliged to impart sustainability and climate-specific education offers in nursing curricula. Currently, we find very little in the nursing literature regarding climate change. Early integration of these competencies into nursing curricula in Germany is still lacking. At Bielefeld University of Applied Sciences, we launched various initiatives. The first step in 2022 was signing the Nursing School Commitment, a campaign delivered by Healthcare Without Harm Europe. Healthcare Without Harm is a network with a goal to create a sustainable healthcare sector, one that does no harm to patients or our planet. By joining the Nursing School Commitment, our institution agrees to impart climate change and planetary health content into nursing curricula. The problem is that curricula are already overloaded. So we try to impart appropriate content as a cross-cutting issue in every lecture. We use the method 2 slides for future. That means that we add 2 slides on climate change and sustainability related to the topic of every lecture. Furthermore, we executed 2 scientific projects, the project Planetary Health and Nursing and Green Guide for Nursing. And now I would like to briefly introduce the projects to you. The first project, Planetary Health and Nursing, PHN, we carried out from 2022 to 2023. It was financed by a German foundation, which is called Stiftung Innovation in der Hochschullehre. Our objectives were raise awareness for climate change challenges among nursing students, encourage reflection on their role in nursing practice addressing climate change, and suggest practical skills to deal with climate change in nursing practice. In the project, we developed 4 teaching units for nursing studies at bachelor and master level. The topics are health effects of climate change, role of nursing in advancing planetary health, economical use of resources, and climate-sensitive and sustainable action in nursing practice. Then we have tested the teaching units in summer term 2023 and improved the materials afterwards. In addition, we developed materials for self-study. The second project is called Green Guide for Nursing, or short GGNurse. This project was carried out from April 2024 to March 2026, so we just finished. And again, the project was financed by the German Foundation. The main objective was to facilitate transformative knowledge and solution-oriented climate literacy among nursing students. For this purpose, we developed a Green Guide for Nursing, a handbook which contains a lot of information and suggestions for sustainable nursing. For example, in terms of reducing waste, saving energy, planetary health diet, or disaster nursing. In this way, we would like to make a contribution to the sustainable anchoring of the topic in teaching and especially in practice. On the slide, you can see some pocket cards of our Green Guide. And in addition, we developed digital educational escape rooms. In the escape room, students have to solve riddles to get out of the room. All the riddles are about sustainable action in different health sectors, in hospitals, in home care nursing, and in nursing homes. Students have a lot of fun with this form of game-based learning about sustainable nursing. Nurses are the largest group of healthcare professionals worldwide and one of the most trusted professionals in our societies. They can take a leadership role in implementing planetary health from the individual and organizational level to the global level. But for that, they must be informed about the deep interconnection of human health and the health of the planet. Learning about planetary health is a key productive action. There is a need for increased curricular content related to sustainability and climate change in nursing education. Each nursing program should integrate core skills and competencies on planetary health. Sustainability education within nursing curricula can positively impact on sustainable healthcare and climate change mitigation. I think that nurses are agents of change. I started my presentation with a worrying statement of Lancet Commission that climate change is the biggest global health threat facing the world in the 21st century. Now I will finish my presentation with a hopeful statement of the Lancet Commission that tackling climate change could be the greatest global health opportunity of the 21st century. And especially nurses can play a vital role in tackling climate change and advancing planetary health. And nursing educators can help prepare them for this role. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Krista. Very interesting projects. So the next turn will be Rosa Maria Cavedo Ferreiro. She's a nurse and a midwife, and as a researcher, her work focuses on sexual and reproductive health. And since 2022, she has served as a co-principal investigator of the Green Mother Project, and she will talk about this today for us. Rosa, it's your turn.
¿Sí? ¿Está mi presentación?
Sí.
Sí.
Hola, como decía, que voy a hacer la presentación en castellano por no dominio de la lengua inglesa. Mi nombre es, como ha dicho la compañera, Rosa María Cavedo. Soy enfermera y soy matrona y actualmente estoy realizando los estudios del doctorado. Mi campo de trabajo es en matrona en atención primaria y estoy investigando, mi línea de investigación es la lactancia materna. El proyecto Green Mother está en la lactancia materna desde el punto de vista de protección del medio ambiente. Tenemos claro que la lactancia materna es la mejor opción para el recién nacido, la mejor opción para la madre, para la sociedad, y en este proyecto quisimos demostrar que también era la mejor opción para el planetary health, para la sostenibilidad. Habían estudios donde se hablaba ya del impacto de la lactancia artificial, pero habían menos estudios donde se comparaban o también analizaban el impacto ambiental que podía tener la lactancia materna. Algunos estudios, sobre todo de Estados Unidos, no imputaban cero al impacto medioambiental de la lactancia materna porque atribuían todo el uso de accesorios como el extractor de leche, como congelar la leche para después darle al recién nacido y como los discos de lactancia protectores no, lo contabilizaban y en algunos estudios se ha visto como que la lactancia materna casi tenía el mismo impacto. Por esta razón, nosotros hicimos el proyecto se basa en dos fases diferentes. El primero y principal era averiguar el impacto ambiental de los diferentes tipos de la lactancia materna exclusiva, de la lactancia materna mixta y de la lactancia artificial, teniendo en cuenta, como hemos dicho, los accesorios y también se le imputaba la dieta materna de la madre que incrementaba con la lactancia, unas 500 kilocalorías teóricas se le imputaban como impacto ambiental. Por tanto, nosotros hicimos todo un estudio, todo un proyecto para analizar y ver este impacto. Después, posteriormente, con los resultados, hicimos un programa educativo multimodal, tanto a los profesionales de la salud como a las usuarias, para tener aumentos de conocimiento de lactancia materna como la mejor opción para nosotros de medio ambiente, una nutrición materna saludable pero también sostenible y dar a conocer conceptos de sostenibilidad. Actualmente estamos analizando la efectividad de este programa. Así pues, el objetivo de la fase 1 fue determinar estos impactos ambientales, el cambio climático con la huella de carbono, el consumo de agua y la escasidez de agua de los diferentes tipos de lactancia, de alimentación infantil, como hemos dicho, y lo hicimos en el primer mes de vida del niño, teniendo en cuenta, como hemos dicho, todos los accesorios que se tienen que utilizar para los diferentes tipos de lactancia y la dieta de la madre. Y en la fase 2, como hemos dicho, estamos evaluando la eficacia del programa que ahora os presentaré. Hicimos una publicación sobre el protocolo 1 y en el protocolo 1 participaron 7 centros de atención primaria de atención a la salud sexual y reproductiva que trabajamos matronas y ginecólogos y psicólogos en Cataluña, como muestra el mapa. En el 2023 reclutamos mujeres hasta que cogimos 419 mujeres embarazadas al final del trimestre de embarazo y después les pasamos unos cuestionarios al mes de vida del recién nacido. En estos cuestionarios preguntábamos muy detalladamente qué tipo de lactancia tenían, si tenían lactancia mixta o artificial, qué productos utilizaban, cuánta leche utilizaban, qué biberones, si utilizaban algún aparato, y lactancia materna también, lo mismo, exclusiva, si extractores, si discos de protección, si contenedores. Y por último, le hicimos una encuesta que se llama Recuento 24 horas, donde analizamos y recontamos toda la dieta durante 24 horas que hicieron las mujeres. Con la publicación principal sobre el impacto de los diferentes tipos de alimentación infantil. No lo haré yo en esta presentación, será mi compañera Ludmila Lisco, que en la siguiente presentación expondrá más largamente los resultados que tuvimos. Lo básico y lo más importante para nosotros fue que la lactancia materna exclusiva era 500 veces menos contaminante que la lactancia artificial. ¿Cómo contabilizamos la dieta materna para imputar, si teníamos que imputar algún impacto ambiental en la lactancia materna exclusiva por este aumento de la dieta materna versus los que no lactaban? Estudiamos esta dieta. Con esta dieta hicimos este artículo porque los resultados nos sorprendieron y vimos que valía la pena hacer esta presentación. Vimos que la inmensa mayoría de las mujeres no tenían una dieta restrictiva, que tenía una dieta omnívora en un 95%, en 1,5% tenían dietas libres de gluten, un 1,3% decían que eran vegetarianas y un 1,3% tenían una dieta terapéutica. Vimos que el 60% de las participantes consumían menos de las recomendaciones en kilocalorías al día. Y cuando comparamos las madres que lactaban exclusivamente y las madres que no lactaban, la diferencia solo fue de 200 calorías al día de más. Por tanto, no le pudimos imputar a nivel de medio ambiente a la lactancia materna un peso de la dieta de la madre como de medio ambiente. Analizamos también los macronutrientes. Lo que utilizamos son las recomendaciones de EFSA para una dieta equilibrada, que habla de tantos por ciento de macronutrientes. De la dieta total se recomienda que un 12-15% sea en forma de proteínas y lo que observamos nosotros es que las mujeres, un 96% en general de las mujeres que recogimos la dieta, consumían un exceso de proteínas. Al igual que hidratos de carbono, también consumían en el 88% de las mujeres un exceso de hidratos de carbono y de hidratos de ácidos grasos. También nos sorprendió que ellas consumían un 99% de las mujeres consumían un menor de 30%, que era lo recomendable. Y cuando hablamos de dieta de kilocalorías, observamos que, como vemos, la recomendación mínima es 1.800 y de mediana las mujeres consumieron 1.673 kilocalorías, muy por debajo de las recomendaciones. Si vemos la diferencia, hemos visto de las mujeres que tenían lactancia exclusiva y de las mujeres con lactancia artificial, vemos la diferencia. Cuando analizamos los micronutrientes, que en esta serie analizamos el hierro, la vitamina D, el calcio y el magnesio, vieron que en todos los micronutrientes las mujeres consumían menos de lo que recomendaba EFSA. Por tanto, podemos concluir, y en el programa educativo así lo tuvimos en cuenta, de que se les tiene que informar a las madres de qué es la dieta equilibrada, qué dieta necesitan para cumplir todas las necesidades, tanto de las que lactan como las que no lactan, y además qué productos consumir para que sean lo más sostenibles posibles. Por último, publicamos el artículo sobre los resultados de lactancia materna. Observamos el dato de que un 92,8% de las mujeres iniciaron la lactancia. Por tanto, tenemos una población que quiere lactar, que tiene interés por la lactancia materna. Por tanto, nosotros veíamos que teníamos una población muy motivada, pero solo en el hospital ya un 78% de las mujeres ya lo hacían exclusivamente, pero ya teníamos un 14% que lo hacía de manera mixta, que ya tenía que suplementar a su recién nacido, y al mes del parto un 23%. Por todo esto, veíamos la necesidad de, si tenemos madres que quieren lactar y es la mejor opción dentro de la sostenibilidad, teníamos que hacer una acción para poder ayudar a las mamás a tener una lactancia materna exitosa y que no tuvieran abandonos antes de lo que ellas querían. Hicimos un análisis de los accesorios para ver a nivel de sostenibilidad qué peso tenían, pero también para ver el uso, si eran una interferencia o no en la lactancia materna. Vemos aquí como, por ejemplo, el extractor de lactancia materna lo usaban un 37% de las madres, que los discos de lactancia un 43%, de manera que eran de un solo uso, y reutilizables tan solo un 17%. Todo esto nos daban cosas y clips para poder utilizar en el programa educativo. Como factores de positivos de lactancia, vimos que contra más edad tenían las madres, más lactancia hacían, contra más educación y educación universitaria también tenían más lactancias, y el hecho de nacer fuera de nuestro país también era un factor protector de la lactancia. Y en cambio, en contrario, lo que teníamos es que como disruptores de la lactancia teníamos la enfermedad mental de la madre y la historia de la intervención. Analizamos también la dieta mixta para ver qué situaciones teníamos las mujeres con situaciones de lactancia mixta. Ya vemos que es una tercera parte del volumen que utilizarían las madres que solo hicieran lactancia artificial. Por tanto, aquí vemos que se utiliza la lactancia mixta como una ayuda por la dificultad de no poder hacer una exclusiva. Y vemos que también en la lactancia mixta hay más uso de utensilios para ayudarse. Como hemos dicho, con todos estos resultados hicimos este programa, un programa multimodal dirigido tanto a profesionales sanitarios como a las usuarias, y con la idea de que dentro de la perspectiva medioambiental queríamos ayudar a tener una buena nutrición tanto para el niño como lactancia materna exclusiva como para la madre. ¿Qué acciones tuvimos? Hicimos a las usuarias, les hicimos material divulgativo, hicimos pósters para las salas de espera, hicimos trípticos para que se los llevaran a domicilio para poderlos leer, y también vídeos que pudieran visualizar. Se prepararon clases de educación prenatal, se adaptaron los espacios para atender las lactancias e hicimos consultas de lactancias complejas para poder ayudar a estas mamás a conseguir la lactancia materna exclusiva. Todo con el objetivo de promover y hacer soporte a la lactancia materna, a aumentar conocimientos sobre la dieta saludable y dar conocimientos sobre más sostenibilidad y para proteger el planeta. En definitiva, fomentar la Green Mother. Este es un ejemplo de un díptico de la información sobre el impacto que tenía la lactancia artificial para que las mujeres vieran el peso en sostenibilidad del uso de la leche en polvo y de la lactancia. ¿Y qué acciones tuvimos para los profesionales? Para los profesionales también hicimos profesionales a nivel hospitalario y a nivel de atención primaria. Hicimos y elaboramos una guía de buenas prácticas en lactancia materna, en dieta saludable para las madres y para la familia, y todos desde un concepto de sostenibilidad. Hicimos unos tips de sostenibilidad para que los profesionales pudieran después transmitir a las usuarias. Hicimos y creamos estas sesiones de educación maternal prenatal para las usuarias y por último ofrecimos un curso sobre este mismo temario. Por último, publicamos este último artículo hace pocos meses sobre el rol que tienen las matronas sobre el planeta de Hel con los resultados de este curso. En este curso lo dividimos en 3 partes, en la lactancia materna, cómo asesorar, cómo conocer los beneficios en sostenibilidad de la lactancia materna. Por tanto, le dimos herramientas para que pudieran iniciar y mantener la lactancia materna como la mejor opción de sostenibilidad. También vimos que estaba muy atada la dieta de la madre, por eso hicimos conocimientos de dieta equilibrada, de qué nutrientes podíamos dar para ser más sostenibles, para ser más saludables y qué alimentos en situación de lactancia materna teníamos que evitar. Por último, hicimos todo un temario sobre conceptos generales de sostenibilidad. Explicamos la sostenibilidad dentro del sistema alimentario. Hicimos claves para ayudar a las madres a tener esta sostenibilidad tanto en lactancia materna como en recipientes reciclables, discos reutilizables, en qué uso de extracción de leche solo cuando fuera necesario. Y por último, explicamos el peso de la sostenibilidad en la lactancia artificial. En este curso participaron 156 profesionales, 54 enfermeras, 32 matronas, 17 pediatras y 5 médicos generales. Un 67% de estos profesionales aprobaron el curso y cuando pasamos la encuesta de satisfacción, el 55% de los participantes estaban al máximo satisfechos del contenido del programa y el 71% nos dijo que era muy aplicable los conocimientos a su vida laboral. Comentarios frecuentes fueron que era interesante, que era práctico, que era útil y que era holístico. Por tanto, como conclusión, vimos que el curso ha sido bien aceptado, ha sido demandado, de que tiene buenos conocimientos en lactancia materna y en nutrición, pero que es muy necesario tener conocimientos de sostenibilidad porque no hay formación antes en nuestro ámbito de sostenibilidad. Actualmente estamos haciendo el manuscrito de los resultados que hemos tenido de esta intervención. Queremos ver la eficacia, si hemos aumentado las tasas de lactancia materna, si hemos aumentado la dieta equilibrada de nuestras mamás y si hemos podido disminuir el impacto ambiental de la alimentación de los recién nacidos. Espero que os haya gustado la presentación. Muchas gracias por vuestra atención.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rhoda. I think it's a great project that shows us how we can integrate sustainability into the daily work of nurses and midwives. but that we need a special education for and training for the nurses and midwives. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So the next one is Ludmila Lyutsko-Pavleshko, and she has a various background in different concepts, like an academic background, like spanning mathematics, pedagogy, psychology, and radio ecology. And she will tell us something about her research in Barcelona. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Ludmila Lyutsko, and I will follow to my colleague Rosa's presentation and will explain more about Green Mother projects and maybe resume and some like key issues of our work. So I'm presenting, but we have a Green Mother group and other others I mentioned here in my slide. So I will again mention about importance on education of health and nutrition, sustainability and planetary health. In my presentation, we'll show you some theoretical knowledge already known, which we were using for calculation of environmental impacts, such as full life cycle of alimentary products and greenhouse gas emissions, as well as baby formula environmental impact of food food. And then we'll go to the main results of the first phase of Green Mother project, where we calculated this environmental impact of infant feeding and maternal nutrition with related accessories and consumption habits. I will show you later. And we'll finish with some hints on education and planetary health for future. So with this publication, Rosa already showed you, very recent now, we are speaking about the role of midwives and also other health professionals, which is okay and important in advancing planetary health. Why? Because when we educate these professionals, actually for Green Mother project, you can see on the table on the right and on the infographic on the left is the same information presented visually. So we created with professionals a good practices guide on breastfeeding, nutrition and sustainability, but then we trained these health workers, midwives, and other professionals. But this person who passed this course, some of them could participate in the second phase of Green Mother project, where we were dealing with educating pregnant and postpartum women. And it's important that health workers, midwives, participate in education because not only they acquire their own knowledge, they acquire this knowledge on planetary health and they can practice it on a daily basis, but also they can share and be example for their nearest social environment, for example, families, friends, but the most important for biggest social environment, since they work with many patients. Many patients pass through primary attention centers. So now a little bit more information provided kindly by Inedit company, which was working with us to calculate and professional these environmental impacts in environmental assessment. Here you have presentation just as a full life cycle of alimentary products and greenhouse and gases emissions. So as you can see, that we were counting from the very beginning, land use and change, then like it's growing products, transports and proceeding, retail and packaging. Some examples you have seen below. For example, beef is in the first place for the greenhouse gases emissions. You can see with the highest impact. Actually, colors in each column belongs to these different processes of full life cycle. Also for baby formula, as well, we also calculated product life cycle of it. And on the right, you can see this our educational material infographic. We were used one of many others because we have only one translated in English for journal publication and also for this conference, that you can see an example we were providing for our participants. Now, I will explain main results of the first phase of the Green Mother project. It was observational study, and we were looking here 3 environmental impacts. We have climate change for carbon footprint calculating. Also, we were calculating water print as a water consumption and water scarcity. And all this we were calculating for two main blocks: maternal diet with consumption habits and infant feeding baby formula with feeding accessories. So here on this slide, you can see actually shopping and some consumption habits. For example, shopping habits, energy source for cooking, and food waste. As you see, this was a multiple choice survey, so people can choose different options. That's why we are not summing to 100%. But you can see that majority, 86%, of participants were using or buying their food in big supermarket. The second choice was more greenly option. They were using small shops, neighborhood or market, 39%. As for transport, the behavior was quite prudent because we can see that our participants reported 55% of participants were walking to buy something, or 37% of them were using car in a small nearest area, like 5 kilometers radius. As for energy sources for cooking, the majority were using electricity, 55%, and natural gas, 35%. As for waste, after each meal, we can see also here reported very prudent behavior. We hope it was a real reality. So 77% of participants reported like less than 5% of waste after each meal. What about more impacts we were summing, adding to the elementary products? Do you remember life cycle was shown in the beginning? So we were also showing impacts of, for example, packaging for beverage and food packaging, and also using of capsules for coffee. Here you can see that the numbers are not so optimistic, and majority were using both for beverage and for food. What it was used plastic. You see 33% for beverages, and 51% of participants were buying food in plastic packaging. Also, it's quite high. But the second choice was the green, without no packaging. You can see from the table. Number of capsules reported per day, you can also observe here below. This infant accessories Rosa already showed you, but it just reminds you that when we were assessing infant feeding environmental impacts, we were using not only calculating baby formula, but also we were calculating and summing all impacts of infant accessories, feeding accessories for all different types. So also for exclusives, breastfeeding, mixed feeding, and all meaning also summing formula feeding type. And now going to the results. So as you remember, we were calculating two big blocks. First one, diet. Why we wanted to see the diet? Because we were saying that we have found in previously published papers that there was about 5 kilocalorie differences between breastfeeding and not breastfeeding women. So this difference could maybe provide some also extra environmental impacts. That's why we wanted to see also diets of the different infant feeding types of different women. But in our study, we found, as Rosa reported previously, the difference, first of all, was less. It was about 200 kilocalories, and this difference actually was not statistically significant. And for all these three environmental impacts we were measuring, carbon footprint, water consumption, and water scarcity. The last is very important for Spain because we are very scarce of fresh waters. But as you can see here, medians for all three types, formula feeding, mixed feeding, exclusive breastfeeding, they have quite similar numbers, median, and their distribution interval, 95% of confidential interval, as well. P-values, you can see here, are not significant. But when we go to the second block, when we go to environmental impact of different infant feeding types, we have this situation quite different. So we see that for water scarcity, water consumption, we have 5 times higher consumption in formula feeding time compared to exclusive breastfeeding, and scarcity 7 times difference. And when we are going to carbon footprint, here we have almost 500, the biggest. These results actually provoked social media resonance. So we have many published articles in Spanish and local, not only local, in the whole Spain. We have a lot of mass media information about these results. Also in the nearest country, France. So these results show us the importance of promoting breastfeeding, promoting not only in terms of health for mother or health for infant, but also for the planetary health. These results were also inputted for the second phase of interventional study. And to finish my presentation, just some hints about that our intergenerational responsibility is not to do further harm for planetary health. And in order to provide it, first of all, we need to be ethical and make conscious changes by ourselves to be examples for the rest, and of course, transfer and educate other people. And midwives and health professionals have a very big role in it. Here's some bibliography which I used in this presentation, and also here go our faces of our Green Mother projects, not all, but majority of them. And thank you very much for your attention. See you in next section 3C for discussion. And also I would like to say you that we are open to collaborate to international project. Green Mother project was local in Catalonian level, but we are open for similar or other project to work international level. And if you contact us, we will be very happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ludmila. I think it's very impressive to compare the carbon footprint of these different options. And yeah, it's very nice. I think we should do this a lot more to all the measures we do in nursing and midwifery, so we can include this perspective in our in how we decide what we will do. Yeah, it's very impressive. Thank you.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. Are there any questions from the audience? Then we have 1 to 2 minutes left before we need to go to the next session.
We were smart to finish in time. We were very good measured. So yeah, we can have a break if you wish, or I don't know.
Yeah.
For next session.
There aren't any questions, then yeah, I think thank you three very, very much for your presentations. So the time is almost over. I think it showed very good that we need to talk, or it gave us great insight into what nursing midwifery science can and should bring in order to consider planetary health in our daily practice. And especially it shows that we need the data and specific training to implement it in the daily practice of nurses and midwives. So let's keep in contact and discuss the results and take it home with us. And yeah, thank you to all participants for listening, and have a nice evening to you all. Thank you very much.